Jaguar S-Type, very fast. Okay, I'm making this video because I was looking on the internet and there's really not anybody doing this exact thing. What's it like to own a Jaguar S-Type around the year 2000 to maybe 2008? That's when the years they were made. What would it be like to buy a used one of these now and drive it for a period of years? What can you expect?
In 3 kilometers, take the exit on the right.
I love this Jag because of the sound of the engine. Just listen to it. And I'm going to be doing a series of these with other cars too, cars that I've owned. So here we are sitting in my Jaguar S-Type 4.0 high output engine, and I'm going to tell you all the things. I'll just show you around a little bit. This is the dash, and of course I'm going to put in some other videos and some other clips, maybe some photographs of the car as I'm talking here. So the car has been pretty good. A lot of people are down on Jaguar. I know that Scotty Kilmer doesn't like Jaguar very much. I've owned quite a few Jags. I was used to be a car dealer, so this is one of those dealer secret type things. The thing about Jaguar is you can have trouble with electronics. I'll be honest about that. But as far as engines go, I've had pretty darn good luck. Before this car, I owned a few Jaguars in the business, which means I owned them for sale, but they were mine. I drove them. And I owned one that was mine before I owned my Land Rover. This was a Jaguar XJ6, and I drove that for 4 years. And it was a very good long distance running car. Funny thing about that Jaguar XJ6 is that it would be very quick. I mean, like blazingly fast, could beat a Mustang at this speed, from about 50 miles an hour to 80. 50 to 80, it was extremely quick. It would drop down to second gear and just really pull fast. So it was geared for that, geared for highway speeds and highway pulling. So let's talk about the the S-Type Jaguar that I'm sitting in now. I've owned this car for 4 years now, and I'm going to tell you everything that happened to it and what you would need to think about if you were going to buy one of these. Of course, I did my checks when I bought it, and I knew that the engine was running pretty well. And I checked the transmission, and it seemed to be shifting fine and not slipping. But at around 100,000 miles, these transmissions are Ford Mustang transmissions in this car, and even the years after this car. And they do end up going bad at around 100,000, especially with a high output 300 horsepower engine. They start to go bad. So I had to have that rebuilt. That cost me over here in Europe, which I live in Russia. It cost me about $2,000 to have it pulled and rebuilt. But I didn't pay too much for the car initially, so it wasn't too bad. About a year after that, I had to get the differential redone, and it works fine. They did all the bearings too. I had all bearings put in all wheels. The differential was whining a little bit, and it probably could have lasted a lot longer, but I ended up going ahead and getting that replaced. That was $1,000. So you see the money I put in the car. And that's pretty much the only thing I've ever spent on this car, really. Besides minor stuff like starter motor. I have a service place here that I go to for jobs I can't do myself. Now, let's talk about the small little things that make you upset. Electronics, windows, driver's side window stopped working. It's the mechanism in there came loose, and it's a bear to fix, and I didn't really feel like messing with that yet. Maybe I will this year, I don't know. Or sell the car, I don't know. Hey, sunroof works fine. No problems, always worked good, I like it. The heating and AC, that's always worked fine for me. I've had no issue with that. Cooling, as far as like coolant temperature and everything, it's always working fine there. No issues. Interior, I keep it nice. I really try to work with the leather so it's not all messed. Once a year or maybe twice a year, I will go through and use that leather conditioner on it, and that's good. Let's see what other things are bad. This window back here on this driver's side back was actually broken when I got it. So there you go. I'm trying to think, is there anything else that has gone wrong with the car? I noticed when I took the valve cover off that the valve cover gaskets were bad, obviously, and I was trying to replace those, which I'll get to parts in the next thing I say. I'll talk about parts. But when I took the valve cover off, I noticed that they had put in the uprated timing chain tensioners. But I'm going to probably take that off this summer again and look at those if I end up keeping the car that long. I'm debating now whether to sell it and get something new or... No, am I still enjoying it? Yes. So let's talk about parts. Next topic will be parts. And the last topic will be power and what the car feels like to drive. So, parts. Are they available? A lot of them are Ford. So, obviously, listen to me now, guys. Don't go and buy Jaguar parts unless you absolutely have to. Get the Ford parts. Like, for instance, the COP, the coil over plug, spark plug coils. You do not want to go and buy a Jaguar part for this. It is a standard Ford part, and it works fine. But if you bought the Jaguar one, hey, okay, we're going to be $150 for each one. So only Jaguar if you must do it, okay? A lot of things you can find through Ford. Now, I'm not saying this is a Ford. It, of course, was owned by Ford when they made this car, but this does not feel like a Ford at all. So, are parts available? Yes, they are available, but sometimes you have to order it and wait. A lot of things are not available here in Russia for this car, even though there's Jaguar dealerships. They just can't get things. For instance, I tried to order a key fob. They sent me the key fob, but it's not coded for the car. So you understand what I'm saying, that there's a lot of little things like this. So parts are kind of much harder than other cars, which is one of the reasons I'm thinking about possibly trading it. Has it been a good car? Yes, I've enjoyed it. Yes, I enjoy it. Let's talk about how it feels to drive. Gas mileage is about 20 miles per gallon, so it's not terrible. I don't run it too hard, but I do race in this car sometimes. It is faster than most things on the road, clearly. It will, well, let's see. I have beat many cars in this car. What can I tell you? Like things like BMWs, no issues. This blows it away. Unless it's a special BMW, like a racing BMW. But most cars, I beat them, no issue. I have raced I raced a Bentley in this car once with the 2-turbo, bi-turbo Bentley, and it pulled ahead of me. So that kind of gives you an idea. It didn't beat me terribly, but, it definitely pulled ahead of me. It was pulling away. But, any other car, it would have just left completely. This thing is pretty quick. Porsche Cayenne, yep, we got it. No problem. So the Porsche truck, no problem. You get the idea of how fast it is. It's quick, but it's not the fastest thing on, in the world. But if you want a very comfortable car that you can get relatively inexpensively, and that will be fun to drive, I like the 4.0 engine as opposed to the 3-liter. The 3-liter is going to be underpowered according to the way I like it. Okay. I've had very good luck with the engine. And you know that I've had pretty good luck with the other items as well. But, you know, is it perfect? No. Would I buy this car again if I hadn't owned it already? Sure, I would, because I've had a good time with it. It's a nice car. So that's my advice. I hope this helps. You know, it's my honest opinion about the car. Oh, rust. Let's talk about rust a little bit. When I got this car, it had no rust at all, really, underneath. There was one small area underneath the driver's side that is on the rail, the rocker panel. No, below rocker. And I addressed that. I've treated that. It's not anything that's structural, okay? It's not causing structural problems. But as far as the rest of the under the car, it's pretty darn clean rust-wise, and I try to keep after it every year. I live in a terribly harsh environment. If you want to see, this is the first spring, and this. Okay, so yeah, I parked the car outside. It's pretty rough on the car, but you know, I try to wax it when it's warm and things like that. They don't tend to rust too much if you're sensible. In other words, you know, during the summer, you're cleaning the under the car. You're putting on undercoating. You know, you keep after that kind of stuff, and this car is pretty much rust free. One area I will tell you that is rust, honestly, is the doors. I guess the water is dripping through the window area, and the bottom part of the door, very bottom part of the door, is just now starting to rust on both sides. Is it bad? Is it holes? Like, you know, like you can see it? No. But, so what I did this year is I took this, special, well, they used to use it, Wex oil, I think was what they used in, when I had British sports cars before, like MGBs and stuff. This is kind of like a Wex oil. You basically spray it in the gaps, and I did that to coat the interior part of that door to try to keep it from rusting. You know, it's fine. You don't even see it when you look at the outside of the car. But I'm telling you that there are small holes there on the door. It's not like, you know, half the door is gone or anything like that. You know, but you know, you should be aware about that is, if you want to have rust-free car. Keep all little nicks and things that are, the paint gets nicked. You gotta like cover that, or it'll cause a hole. Okay. Hope it helps. Have a good day.